We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
And so now you do it. Thanks.
Yeah,
Appreciate
well,
it.
it's
No,
truly
it's
the
like,
least I could do.
okay, so we're back.
We are. It seems like we've been gone for at least 2 weeks.
No, it's been three, right? If we didn't do 2 weeks, and this will be the third week.
Is that like when I talk to my
Three.
wife about how old she is and she counts the 9 months in the womb?
Does she?
I think she does.
That's crazy.
I think we all do.
No, we
I don't.
don't. Don't even start down that
I
road.
don't
So
know.
anyhow, do you want to tell people why you weren't available
Well,
the
we had a
last two
couple
weeks?
storms.
Yeah, I know. I thought it would have been fun to do one while the storm was coming over your house. That would have been that was a Helene. That was Milton?
Milton,
Yeah,
Helene.
Milton. Yeah, the
Well,
last time we did a show, Helene had just come through.
yeah. So Helene, for those that don't know, ran up the west coast of Florida and into the Gold Coast Green. What do they call that? The end of the
Gulf.
bend, the Big Bend. Yeah, it came across, and then it is Helene the one that wiped you guys out too?
Yeah, yeah, in the mountains here in North
Yeah.
Carolina.
And
Yeah.
so Florida got whacked, and I just didn't know if we're going to have signal. Um, we were in the path, but not the direct path. We got a lot of wind and rain. Nothing, no damage.
Did it ever get scary at all?
Well, you just don't know. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's going to turn. It's going to turn. It's going to turn." And you just kind of hang on.
Yeah, I mean they literally dodged a bullet in Tampa. My parents wouldn't leave because they're like, well, no one. They're in Fort Myers, just south of that whole fiasco, and I said,
Helene, they got pounded, didn't they?
well, that's no Milton. Milton.
Milton, they got pounded. My
Helene
brother.
stayed far enough off
Yeah,
coast
I'll
that
tell
they
a
didn't.
brother story in a minute, but yeah.
Okay. So
But
I was like, yeah, why don't you get on, because there's direct flights from their little airport to a little airport up here. I said, why don't you get on a flight? Could just come up. No, they're telling us not to evacuate. I said, well, by the time they tell you to evacuate, you're not going to be able to get out of Florida. So, because they're so far south. So anyhow, I had to, and thankfully that storm turned north and it went down to category 3 before it hit. When it left over Honduras at category 5, headed straight for Florida, I was like, this is it. Yeah, this is the one that's going to get them. So I was
never
well
know.
ahead trying to get them out of there, and that it just doesn't help. You can't talk people into leaving.
Yeah, we're kind of fortunate where we are because to the east of us, the Gulf Stream, it leaves the coast of Florida.
Right,
It's like
right
a
about
mile.
Cape Canaveral, right? Kind of where the
Well, it's about a mile off the coast at Deerfield Beach to the south, and then our state kind of doglegs a little angle to the left, and then we got this alcove up by Jacksonville. And at that point, the Gulf Stream is about 30 miles offshore. And so I'm probably 35, 40 mile 30, I don't know, 35 miles inland from the beach where I am. So you got 60 miles off the Gulf Stream. So unless there's one dead on from the Atlantic, then we get pounded. Now, the other side is from the Gulf. And so the ones coming in from the Gulf, we get a lot of water, which doesn't
well, it
help
depends
us
on what
flood.
side of the eye you're on. If you're on the north side, you don't get a lot of water. If you're on the south side, where it's
Yeah.
pushing in, you get a lot of water.
Yeah, everyone's an expert, but it just it's a mess. My only
You
fear.
calling me a dumbass, Dave?
No, I never said that. My only thing is, and I don't know if it's guilt, but there's a moment when you're sitting there watching these things, and then it's like, okay, it's turning. Okay, great, it's gonna miss us, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And then like Mexico Beach is off the map,
right,
or
right.
Peter Key is just gone. And so, how do you celebrate that you survived it? I guess this is what people go through when they go through disasters. I should have died.
Yeah, it should have been me, or dire. It was what do they call it? Not buyer's remorse, but something similar
Dyer's
to that.
remorse. I don't know.
Survivor's remorse.
Well, I don't get too caught up in it, but there is a moment where I just try not to celebrate that much. And Milton was really so. So my brother, I've talked about him a couple. My oldest brother, he's the one that's lived a long life of making really bad choices.
We all have one of those in our family.
So
It's me.
he's like 70 years old, and he's gone through 4 cell phones in the last 6 months or something.
Are they,
And
what do you say? Are they burner phones, Dave?
well, I don't know if he's selling them. I asked my sister, I said, is he selling them for beer or something? I don't know. So she gets a text message from him that from somewhere that he's not leaving. He's in a single wide trailer that got the crap beat out of it a couple storms ago, but he's fixed it, you know.
Oh yeah,
He's
it's
basically he's a hermit living in the woods, you know.
okay.
So he says, I'm leaving. I mean, I'm staying. Screw you. I'm staying. I'm like, okay, this another yet bad decision.
Right.
So I'm looking at the map. He was right between Bradenton, just east of Tampa and west of Plant City. So right there where when
Yeah.
the storm came through, it was going to be a lot of water and wind, you know.
Yeah. Right.
So the next day, I'm at school. I hadn't heard from him. So I call Hillsborough County Sheriff Department and said, look, introduced myself. I said, I got a crazy brother. You guys picked up, is he with you at jail? He goes, no, sir,
Oh,
we don't have him. And I said,
okay.
so if he's dead, do you have any dead, people dying? He goes, well, we have a 70-something-year-old man that died. I'm like, well, he's 70 or 71.
Right.
And I said, he goes, call the morgue. So I call the morgue and they're like, no, Mr. Theus, we don't have your brother. And about 15 minutes goes by and he calls me while I'm
Ah.
at school. He goes, oh, I'm alive. That son of a, he's cussing up a storm. So I said, John, there's a fine line between stupidity and stupidity. And you
Right,
crossed it.
right. Well, I offered you and several others if they wanted to go up to my place in Tennessee, and there was a little selfishness to it because of Helene, I can't get over there very easily, and but the highway down there in Florida goes straight up there. So I offered my family and friends down there if they wanted to, because when I really did think it was going to be a nasty storm. So
Well, we did too, and I appreciate that. My only problem with bugging out is, I mean, it could be the last thing I want to do is be on the road and I got a full tank of gas, and 8 hours later, I'm out of gas and I'm stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd almost
I
rather just
think
be in the eye of the storm than have to go through that fiasco. But I
well
don't.
the yeah, I think the biggest problem, and it would be my problem as well, and I think I don't know how to solve it, but the problem is that if you leave, you can't get back, right? They won't let you back to check your place out.
Yeah.
So you're summoned away, and they're like, nobody come back. Nobody. They're having the same problem up in the mountains because there's only two roads in, and at this point in time, still, and one person. So they're telling everybody, don't come up here, but of course everybody does because they're there to help.
Right.
Whereas they're really not helping, but they're there to help. So
Well, it's kind of crazy. It reminded me of Andrew a little bit. But the problem with the one in North Carolina, the leg of it, like you said, they couldn't get in there. And
yeah.
Andrew, they could get in. Of course, everything was flat. But
Well, nothing was built to hurricane because we hadn't ever really had a hurricane
you
like.
guys didn't really get a hurricane. You got flash floods, didn't you? I mean,
Yeah,
that's really
there's just so much rain. Yeah, and it just washed away hillsides and dams overfilled, and because there's quite a few hydroelectric dams up in that area, and
yeah.
they were overcome, breached, and it just one would breach, and then that one breached faster, and then the next one breached even faster, and before you know it, they're all breaching at the same time. So, and then the ground gets saturated.
A lot of dam breaching going on.
Yeah, dams. Anyhow.
All right. Well,
so, yes. So that's why we were kind of off the last 2 weeks. Dave's just being lazy. I was willing to go either time, but he whipped out.
I think one of the weeks. Oh, I know what it was. So this past week, the storm. So we had the storms, and then that messed up my schedule. I do the FBLA thing, so we have a local rally that we did last week. And since we were out of school, we had 2 or 3 days off again. I couldn't get in touch with the kids' parents, and so I had to chase my tail to get all the paperwork signed, 10 kids to get permission slips done, all that crazy stuff that you kind of have extra time to do, but then suddenly we're out of time. So I had the FBLA, I had to get a substitute, get a van, all that crazy. And then we had my Wednesday night thing for the Clay Men's Republican Club. We had a big speaker, Mark Kay. We talk about that. So he's a conservative podcasting, live feeding. He used to be a radio host, but they parted ways, and now he's his own guy.
How
But
do you
Mark
spell his
Kay,
last name for those that want to look him up?
Kaye, Mark Kay.
Mhm.
Saving the Republic, I think is the name of the show. But anyway, he's pretty big deal. I mean, he's one of these guys, conservative talkers that's trying to carve out a piece of the Rush Limbaugh audience, somewhat. He may have 1 million or so followers or something. But anyway, so he was Wednesday night, and I had to get my stuff ready for that. It was a big night. And then Thursday night, I think we were going to do the show on, I don't know, something else came up Thursday night. I couldn't do it. And I had to go to a kid that played football for me last year. His mother called me and said, "Hey, listen, tonight's the last, Thursday night's the last game of the season at home. He'd love to have you out there, coach. Would you come out and watch my boy play?"
And you said, "Who is this?"
I'm like, "How did you get my number?" No, I said,
new phone. Who dis?
So I said, I'm going to do my best. And they're good people. They, good folks. So I went out. I'm glad I did. I got to see a bunch of kids.
Are you like when coaches go to other schools, do you go down on the sideline and hang out like you're Mr. Bigwig?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
do you go in the stands?
Do you go in the stands? But okay, do you go up to the top row and act like you're taking notes?
I'm on the field.
You are on the field.
Yeah, I gotta pass. I gotta wear this badge because I'm a teacher, so I get into the game for free no matter where I am in the county.
Oh.
And then I know the coaches. This was a JV game the kid plays for. So their varsity coach over at Clay High School, he and I coached at Fleming Island for 1 year, Kyle. And then their defensive back coach, Craig Nossi, he and I coached at Fleming for 3 years. He was the defensive back coach over at Fleming. So, it's a small circle network of coaches. And as soon as they saw me and I saw them, I'm like, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" So we, kind of play a little grab.
It's convenient. You all have the same first name.
I know. And it's funny if you don't know the guy. It's like, "Hey, coach."
Right.
It's totally acceptable.
When I was helping my son's soccer team, people would call me coach. I'm like, really? I'm really not coaching your kid. But so do you try that teacher's badge thing at the Jaguars games?
No, I don't do the Jaguars.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
But
So
you
haven't tried it.
Money. I was a season ticket holder with them for 5 years, and I
That was
actually
a
got the
business expense, though, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, I was gonna get married to this chick, and we fell apart, and so I got my ring back and cashed it in and bought season tickets.
Nice. Is that a true story?
True story, but it was still a bad investment. So
why don't I know about this young lady?
Oh God,
we'll have to investigate that offline.
Some things are worth forgetting.
So this week Dave wanted to push it off again, but I said our fans are demanding a return.
Yeah.
So he's going to muster through it here, and we may do an abbreviated show this week. But you want to give us a health update?
Yeah, I'm a little under the weather. Is that what you mean?
I just thought you were high.
Well, I'm doing something I've never done before. So I was telling Woody before we started, I like those Alka-Seltzer, what do you call it, flu?
Cold and flu.
The 2 tablets, you dump in a thing of water. And there's daytime and nighttime, apparently. And I don't take sleep medication. I don't like taking sleep medication. I have this fear that I'm going to take sleep medication, go to sleep, that I can't get up, and the house is going to be on fire, and I'm just going to be laying in bed. So,
and your wife would have left without waking you. It's what you're saying.
She's like, don't bother. He's asleep. So all we had in the house was the sleep version. I don't know who bought them, because they know that's the way it is with me. But So I popped 2 of those, and I told Sheila, I said, "Is this thing gonna, am I gonna be in trouble?" And she goes, "I don't think it happens like instantaneous,
No,
Dave."
no, it's not. Have you ever had surgery when, hold on one second. Okay. Sorry, I had to break a show. I thought someone was lifting something that they weren't supposed to. So,
Well, what are you gonna do with
um,
your broken arm?
no,
Just tell her not to do it.
yeah, my wife actually just had back surgery. So we're just a family full of
Oh, we're getting old.
invalids around here. So I was worried someone was trying to do something. So I apologize to the fan base. So you're sick, is the point.
Yeah, I got the beginnings of a head cold.
Head cheese cold. Yeah, why don't they use that? Remember the old the plop 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 fizz fizz advertising?
Yeah, I think that was for like if you had an upset stomach, like you were drunk the night before and you're
Oh
hungover.
yeah, yes. And then it progressed into the cold and flu.
I don't
It's
know what it is about it that works. I think it's just because it's you drink it first of all, and it gets into your system. I don't know faster. It's got aspirin in it. I didn't know that, but it's got aspirin. It's basically aspirin and like what is Zyrtec? Antihistamine. It's a
yeah.
big dose of antihistamine and aspirin. And it's got, I guess, the painkillers, the aspirin. I don't know. It works, so I can get a packet of those things and like
You ever do
8 of them.
NyQuil?
No, it's same problem. I don't like taking drugs that could put me to sleep.
Well, they make DayQuil.
I think I've taken the Dayquil tablets. My problem is I want to chase them with bourbon, and I know
It
that's probably
is.
not a good
I tell
idea.
you what, I one of the times I did NyQuil, people was like, do a double shot. That works best. So I did like a double shot,
Yeah, that's what my wife's always telling me. I think
and then
she's
I
done.
got up in the middle of the night and did two more. I was drunk come morning time.
What's that drink?
There's
Molly. Isn't that what Molly is? Is NyQuil and 7 Up or something?
I have no idea.
You're big at the clubs, don't
Why
you
don't
know
you
that?
ask the assistant?
I'm thinking I'm going to do that. Alexa, do you know what a Molly is?
3,4 methyl-N-dioxymethamphetamine, commonly known as ecstasy, and Molly, is an empathogen entactogenic drug with stimulant and minor psychedelic properties.
I don't
All
think I'm going
right.
to do that.
I'm assuming she's right because I really don't know the
Yeah,
answer.
I don't know much about drugs.
But she didn't preface that with from an Alexa contributor. She just had that information.
Yeah, maybe
So
she's firsthand.
user of
Yeah.
Molly. Yeah. Ask her if she uses Molly.
Okay. Alexa, have you ever had a Molly?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Well, because you can't remember it, probably. Who knows? I don't know. She doesn't sound like someone that does amphetamines.
Oh, but
You
anyway,
know a lot about it.
uh, so
You do an
anyhow,
awful lot. Okay, shut up. What?
what you say?
No, go ahead. I stepped on you.
Oh, I was going to give a health update here as well
Yeah,
as you
what's
could.
going on with your wheel?
So they moved me to a cast now. So I went from over the elbow, what do you call it, brace, I guess, and
Uh-huh.
then they do that until the swelling goes down, and then they move you into a cast. But at least the cast now doesn't have to go over the elbow. But
Well, you can rotate your arm now.
yeah, well, a little bit. It hurts a lot, which I don't really understand, but nonetheless, it hurts to go back and forth. So they moved me into a hair early only because I had a wedding to attend. A friend of mine's daughter was getting married. So
Huh.
I wanted to be able to get a suit jacket on and stuff that evening. So 2 days early, they moved me into this. They didn't think it would be a problem. They did an x-ray. Everything was looking fine. So but it will be a long road to recovery because it's quite sore and it hurts a lot to move it. So a week from Friday, I think I get the cast off, assuming everything still looks good, and I'll go into a soft brace at that point. But they said don't count on getting back to full physical activity at least to the beginning of the year, and it won't fully heal for a full year. So I got that to look forward to.
No more lifting weights and push-ups.
Yeah, I had to cut back on my stunt car driving and my NASCAR racing and whatever other excuse.
Your pit crew.
Yeah.
Now
I was in a pit crew, but I was driving the car. Come on now.
Oh, that's right.
Gonna mess around with that that aspect of
Hoisting
driving. So-
yourself over the window and dragging yourself down in there.
yes. So I did think about that because I'm like, some drivers do. That's a common injury in race car driving is to do hand thumb damage from holding the wheel, and a lot of them do get. Basically, they tape the broken hand to the steering wheel so they can race that day. A couple days afterwards. So it's
Yikes.
important. Well, in NASCAR, it's about their point system is about starts and starting. While you can get a waiver for not starting a race, there's more points to be made if you can start. So you'll go out, do a lap, and come in and let someone swap out for you. Is kind of the thing they'll do. But so they'll tape you up and get you out there so you can start. Then all the points gained in that race go to the driver of the car. So that's why you'll see them do that.
I want to go backwards for a second. Did you see, since you're probably closer to it than I am, did Banner Elk get pretty bad up? Being banged
Yes.
up?
Yep.
So Snow and Beach Mountain, of course, were above it. So they probably, I'm sure, escaped whatever.
I don't
damage.
think there was snow up there yet, though.
No, there's a
town called Snow.
no. It's Beach Mountain, and what's the one that's right across the way from it? Beach and
Sugar.
Sugar Mountain.
Yeah.
Snow.
Yeah, I'm like,
Anyway.
snow. Yeah, there's not snow up there yet.
But so Banner Elk got smacked downtown.
Yeah. Yep. And Chimney Rock,
Well, I
Boone.
saw- yeah, that's sad.
So all those towns.
All right. Well, I sent you some stuff over the last couple weeks from Facebook when I was having cigars. I found those old words that come from our past. Did you see those clips I sent you?
No, because I had to click on a link that was going to take me to something else, and I didn't have my headphones in, and I didn't want it to show up at work. I didn't want to play it out loud at work. So
Well, I wouldn't send you something inappropriate. Maybe.
no, I just don't want anybody to know I'm not doing work
Oh, that's fine.
at my
'Cause
desk.
you don't want to ruin your Sudoku. time.
That's right, or my PGA shootout time.
Yeah. All right. I'm feeling it.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm not feeling sleepy,
Well,
but I'm.
If you pass out, I'll keep the show going. Dave wakes up like
That's what Sheila said. Sheila said, "Well, Woody, I'm sure will take advantage of the situation." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of."
what would be funny is that I can't turn off the recording from here. So
She said, "You'll just be drooling on the camera." I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's something to look forward to." I'm
you're not
sure
at your
people can't wait
your
for that.
best. But one of the things, there was an old news item, and I just want your take on this. If we could stretch it out another 10 minutes,
Yeah,
to
go.
get 3 in. But I thought I had something else to talk about too. But so, did you hear about that Navy commander who looked through the scope backwards? He didn't realize the scope was on backwards on some gun that he was shooting. Did you not hear about that?
No.
So, apparently they're on the ship out at sea or whatever. And I don't know what the circumstances were that came to this thing, but they gave him like something to shoot, and he was, doing the scope in it and everything. And then after he shot it, they realized the scope was on backwards. So they relieved him of his command because of that.
For incompetence?
I guess. I'm like,
Or
come
did he
on,
shoot
man.
himself
The
because he had
guy's
the
a
wrong end of the
Navy
barrel?
commander. What's he know about scopes? And if it wasn't like he was shooting at target for all I know. I don't know what the hell he was shooting at. He's probably looking out of the ocean. How do you know it's not in the right mode? Everything looks small through the lens. But I thought that was a little overkill, don't you?
Is this a real story?
Yeah. Ask Alexa.
Hold on.
How long are we waiting?
Well, I was trying to ask my phone.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
So
Alexa, do you have a story about a Navy commander firing a weapon with the wrong end of the scope? Okay. Alexa, Navy commander using the wrong end of a scope.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
No, I'm not sure how
get
to
out of here. And I'm having a a malfunction of my second screen tonight, so I'm unable to simultaneously do the Zoom and look at comments and side effects. Like there will be no word of the week this week, folks. I
Okay,
am
here it is right here.
not capable.
There it is. Navy commander relieved of duty after firing rifle with
You said
scope
duty.
backwards. Yeah, I know. That's what he said. All right, hold on. It
I got
says,
you to say duty.
This is NPR. You'll appreciate this as
Yeah,
a source.
Of course.
San Diego, the commander of the Navy destroyer that helping protect the San Diego-based aircraft carrier USS Theodore Roosevelt in the Middle East, has been relieved of duty about 4 months after was seen in a photo firing a rifle with a scope mounted backwards. There it is. The image brought the Navy considerable ridicule on social media. Those sensitive types.
What ridicule for? The guy's a Navy guy.
The San Diego Union Tribune reported that Cameron Yaste, commanding officer of destroyer USS John McCain, well, there you go, was removed on Friday. The Navy said Yaste was relieved of duty due to a loss of confidence in his ability to command the guided missile destroyer.
Because he looks through the thing backwards.
Well, it's a guided missile destroyer. Got him. He's got the scope on backwards.
He's not the one pulling the trigger.
It's currently deployed in the Gulf of Oman. The statement didn't elaborate why Yace was replaced. In April, a photo posted on the Navy's social media showed Yace in a firing stance, gripping the rifle with a backward scope. Well, at least he had the butt of the rifle against his shoulder.
Right. It wasn't like he was looking down the scope, like shaking.
It's like a Monty Python episode. He was staring down the muzzle. I think this is the way you do it.
I still wouldn't blame the guy. Navy, they just carry handguns, right? They don't carry rifles.
Stop. Come on. He's on a boat. They got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they got
this is funny. The Roosevelt is the flagship of the strike group that recently included 3 Arleigh Burke class destroyers, $2 billion vessels that are designed to shield carriers from attacks by air. But we can't have them commanded by people that can't operate a damn gun.
Well, they can operate the gun. He just put the scope on backwards.
Is he what is that, a DEI hire?
Yeah. DIE, you mean diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Yeah.
DEI.
Maybe he's got dyslexia.
I always think of we talked about that last show.
He's on the John McCain, so who knows? Depending on how you feel about that, I don't know. Well, poor guy.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
He makes it all the way to commander.
Right. Looks through the scope backwards. Probably wasn't even looking through it. He was just playing hey, take a picture of me.
He is looking at it.
Oh, you're looking at, you see the picture.
No, yeah.
Okay.
And he's firing the weapon. There's shell casings firing off all over the place. I bet when he's looking through, he's going, man, this guy's a long ways away.
That's what I'm saying. He's looking out in the ocean, man. He's a Navy guy.
No, but get it? If he's looking through the wrong end, it looks even further away.
Yes, I was on board with that.
Does it have the little thing that says objects may seem closer?
He's like, that carrier is very far away.
You're firing at our own ships. You want to cut that out? Well, that's embarrassing.
It is, but I just thought that was a classic example of
well, whoever posted it in the social media, you'd think, I don't know, you think someone would have caught it.
Exactly. Why is this his fault? Kind of thing. So I'm hoping there was some extenuating circumstances that maybe were above and beyond the photo itself that led him to his dismissal, not the mere fact that he looked through that wrong. But hey, speaking of something, before we wrap up here tonight,
hold on. All right, sorry, I had a video going. Go ahead. What?
Oh, I was going to say, since you're suffering with a cold and you've been holding off your sneezes, are you a God bless you person?
Yeah, over Gesundheit. Yeah, I'll say.
Well, isn't Gesundheit?
I think it's probably German for God bless you.
Yeah, I was going to say. I did want to say that because
we talked about this one time, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think it was on the show. That's why I brought it up. I didn't erase it. So, because That was originally brought about because they thought when
Oh,
you
because they've
sneezed,
yeah.
your
Go ahead.
soul was leaving your body.
Yeah.
So it'd be
That's what it is.
God bless you. But obviously, we know that doesn't occur anymore. Well, so there's a few behaviors we do that I question. One is God bless you. I say bless you, but if you sneeze again, you're on your own. Don't pull that sneeze 2, 3 times in a row.
Do you remember our friend Matt from the fraternity?
You have to, Matt.
LaSalle.
Yes,
So apparently, when he was a kid, he was one of 8 children
yes. I had
in his
lunch with him
family.
down at the reunion.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember if it was sneezing or coughing. I think it was sneezing. And it was either his mom or dad or his teacher. I think it was a teacher at school that when he would sneeze, the teacher would accuse him of trying to seek attention because he was a multiple sneezer,
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if you did that in front of him, he would call you out and say, "You're just doing that for attention." I'm like, well, I guess. I don't know where that came from, but
And
go
is
ahead.
it really as good as an orgasm?
I don't know how that came up.
That is a common refrain.
Well, I know a guy that was in an accident one time. One of my guys that I worked with in the financial services, he came to work and he goes, I'm late because I was in an accident. I go, how did you do that? And he says, I sneezed. And apparently you close your eyes when you sneeze. You can't
Yes,
keep your eyes open
right.
because it's not your soul that leaves, it's your eyeballs that pop out.
if you don't hold them in, yeah.
Yeah. And so he sneezed and he ran into the guy in front of him, I guess. I don't know.
Did he have good insurance?
I'm like, come on, Joe. It's apply the brake, then sneeze, but whatever.
The other one I'm thinking about is standing ovation. I despise them.
Well, it's got to be good for me to get up.
And the problem is everybody else gets up. Do you feel pressured to get up?
Yeah, you do a little bit, but usually if I don't feel it, I don't get up.
You let everybody else around
No,
you
I'm,
stand
I'm,
up.
I'm not a conformist, and unless it's worthy, I feel like I'm moved.
Why do we have to stand up? Isn't clapping good enough sitting down that you have to stand up and clap?
Well, I'm sure there's some origin to that. I did find out about break a leg, where that comes from. That's kind of similar to this. Have you heard that?
Would you like to enlighten us all before we leave?
Yeah, so this is there's I don't know who it is on Facebook, but there's a couple pages that go back and find these historical phraseology that we have, and
Well,
they tell us
it goes back to my dinosaur thing that someone will say, "Oh, this dinosaur ate leaves." Oh yeah, who's gonna argue with you?
no, I was there. Anyway, so so the break a leg thing apparently, yeah, because no one knows. But during the Shakespearean era of theater, the theaters were, buildings with wooden floors, and the chairs that the theater goers sat in were wooden chairs. And so it was customary for a show to be such a, resounding show. Not only would they applaud, but they would lift the chair they were sitting in and stomp it on the wood floor.
To make more noise.
And
Yeah.
and it became raucous sound of the wood floors and the wood chairs, so much so that it was a very celebratory moment that it would break one of the wooden legs of the chair. And so the
That's because they
theatrical
were dumbasses and were doing a standing ovation. See?
well,
And
maybe
they
maybe they
sat
were
down.
standing in the chairs. I don't know. But so the theater people said, break a
Yeah.
leg. And so the
Yeah.
idea is that the show be so good that people would break one of their chair legs. I like that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's true or not, because like you said, we weren't there to see the dinosaurs eat the leaves, but it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah, we could come up with another, and if I were witty at all, I'd have one already in the holster ready to go. But I can't think of a funny thing to do with
I
break a
did hear a
leg.
couple today before the show, but there's a bunch of them out there.
Really?
Well, so apparently during early days of employment, way back when people were trying to come up with a term of endearment for their employer. And so I don't know how it came about, but it was either Finnish or they adapted a word called bass, BASS. And It's where we get the word boss from. And so it became later an English word for the employer or your boss. And that's
Hmm.
where we get boss from. I don't know. I don't know. Let's
Hmm.
ask Alexa.
This is their last chance to
Yeah.
screw up.
Alexa, what is the origin of the word boss?
The noun boss, meaning a person who employs or superintends workers, manager, originated from Dutch in the Kingdom of the Netherlands around 1640 to 1650.
Yeah, it was a Dutch word.
Yeah, that cleared it up.
Well, it was a Dutch word bass, BASS.
You
Not
sure
like
they
a
weren't talking
largemouth,
about? You sure they weren't calling their employer? A fish.
a large or smallmouth bass. I bet in Dutch the way you pronounce is boss. I bet it's boss.
I don't know.
Oh boy.
You might want to say
Alexa, hold
hello.
on.
Hey,
Alexa, what is the language they speak in
Finnish.
Dutch?
The language they speak in Dutch is
De taal waarin ze spreken.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I told you that before the show, Dave.
Alexa, how do you pronounce BASS in Dutch?
BASS. In Dutch is
B-A-S.
B whatever.
She's never lets us down. Well, Dave,
Someone else has heard that before, but anyway.
before you faint and your head hits the microphone,
Yeah.
why don't we wrap this up on that glorious
Yeah.
educational information you gave us? Are you able to say goodnight tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I can
right.
muster.
All right, man.
All right. Well, I'm sorry that I'm not 100%, but I'm Dave.
I'm Woody.
I'm glad we're back, and we'll do better next time, but we did have some storms and all that kind of stuff, so bear with us. All right. What do you do? All right, later till next time. Gardwell. What do I say?
Gardwell.
Oh, subscribe on Facebook. No, subscribe on YouTube and listen to us on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts.
It really works. If you do it at the same time, it helps out a lot.
Yeah, come on.
We're looking for 7 million subscribers.
Yeah, give or take. All right. Peace out. Gardwell.